Hi guys, TSM here. Welcome back to the channel. So here we are. It's the Tier 12 Assault Raid breakdown, and this is basically the first Assault Raid for 2023. I know the picture in front of you looks quite complicated. Let's break down the damage types, looking at the key in the bottom left-hand corner. So everything then that's basically a purple diamond is basically penetrative, and if it's got a blue border, it means it's got king color. Just take a look at the picture and just see how much king color effect there's going to be. It's basically everything that produces penetrative damage, apart from one turret at the bottom, which we'll have a look at in the target when we do it live. The next thing is corrosive. Obviously, corrosive doesn't do king color, it does area effect damage. So all the triangles which are in green, they are obviously not all the same range, and not all the turrets fire the same method. Okay, but they are all area effect damage. The last one then, which is unusual, and it's in this target here, is you have a healing ship. There are 3 of them in this one, which is the VXP target, by the way. And this one here, not only when you're inside of its aura, do you do less damage, anything that's obviously within the target that thing passes over as it drives around, it also then slow heals it as well. So if you're about to take down a turret and you don't quite get it down, and that ship drives past it, it heals that turret and you're back to square one. Okay, so let's talk about the target itself then. So quickly, you've got the healing ship there. Bear in mind that kicks out drones when you get close to it as well. So just be cautious, because those drones obviously do corrosive damage and they will aim at you. You can sort of get around the problem, but you want to take them down as soon as possible. On top of that then, unfortunately, you've got stingrays there. You can see there's 2 of them, okay, on the ship there to the left-hand side. And they do missile damage, okay? They're also king killer, but you can take some down with your countermeasures. On top of that, you'll see there's also a UAV carrier ship as well. They fire obviously UAVs, and they do have king killer as well. And you can take most, if not all of those down with 2 MDS3s on your fleet. Notice as well then, they do have an aura which is also corrosive, so go inside of that aura, okay, and then that will obviously do you corrosive damage the longer you stay in there anyway. Fortunately, you can outrun that ship with routine combat speed, which we'll look at in a moment. And then let's move on to turrets. Okay, the first turret we're going to look at is this one here right in the bottom. Okay, and this is basically a scalpel missile turret. It's dumbfire, it's got a huge range, but basically you can, as long as you don't stop, you can actually outrun the projectile coming towards you, and it will fire behind you. So that's the sort of first one that you'll come across basically. The second turret then is the hyper scatter gun. This one here, okay, has a small aura, okay, and unfortunately you just have to drive in it and drive through it. Unfortunately, it's slightly frustrating, but that's just the way it is. You just got to drive into it, take it down, and get out there as soon as you possibly can. The one after that is the hypo scattergun. Now this one here is a bit more like dumbfire, so if you drive straight and don't go anywhere, don't stop in its range, then you can drive right through it and right past, and basically it should fire behind you. Okay, the next one is the ACUP missile, okay, and it's like this one on the island here. Yes, it's penetrative, and yes, it's dumbfire as well, okay. I'll show you the auras when we're in the target in a minute. Okay, get inside of its minimum range and you should be okay. Note the cluster at the top, there's 3 of them up here together. Next then, we'll show one, the fact there's 2 here. Look, these are 2 corrosives, and these have the firing arcs. So they are basically trying to stop you going through this sort of channel here and this sort of channel here. They fire in a V sort of formation, similar to what we had in the last target, but I'll show you that live in a moment. That's about everything. You know, there's not that many different types. What there is lots of them. It's absolutely classic assault raid. I think first and foremost what you notice is there's a lot of corrosive, so you are going to get guaranteed damage. It's absolutely certain. It's classic assault raid, as I've said, but also there's king killer as well, so we need to consider that. Okay, here we are on the target then. I haven't started it. I've tried to show you virtually everything I can. There's a little bit more at the top, but we want to focus on the bottom. Take notice of this missile then. This is the one, like I said, that's got the dumbfire long range. Down here then, here's the penetrative missiles then that has got the max and minimum range as well, king killer effect. Here's the first of the scatter ones, okay, you just go in there and kill them as fast as you can. The other type is over here, okay, and this one here basically, you just have to drive at it, but don't stop, and you'll be able to drive by and kill it. The The ones with the area, like I said, look, the V damage areas then, very similar to the previous raid set. Okay, you can see then that they've got directional damage. Okay, and that is about your lot. So there isn't too much in it. There's your UAV ship, and that's its aura effect. Okay, that's obviously the medic ship. You can see its aura as you're going around. Here, obviously, are the those missile ships, unfortunately, and they do damage while you're trying to kill the medic ship off. Like I said, you can see the range first and foremost. Now, what I was trying to do was basically trigger this one here to get my, and this is what I did do, I triggered this UAV carrier, brought it out, killed it off, waited for this fleet to go past, went back in, killed in this turret here, exited, and then went back into my dock, and then claimed myself my my points to rank my ships. That's all I did. So I'll just quickly show you that now, because I am ranked at the moment. There's the aura, it's just started now. That UAV ship will trigger. You should be able to outrun it. Look, see, I'm taking down all the UAVs. I've only got 2 MDS-3 on. And there we go. And there's my first berserk point there, look. So this fleet goes up, turns around, comes back. So you need to pause a second before we go in and take out this turret. And that's all we'll do. We're not going to any further forward in this target. We're just going to do these 2 pieces first, and that just shows you how to rank your ships. You just need the engine on and 1 scattergun. And if you're struggling to get this turret down, the best thing to do is just take out that UAV carrier, so long as you've got an engine fitted, and then just exit and go and pick another target. So we can start going in now. I'm trying to get that Stingray to at least fire once. I'll have a go in a minute just to show that you can shoot down a lot of the incoming projectiles. I did take a bit of damage there, look. So if I zoom in slightly, I will get close to one of these. There we go. So you can take down quite a lot of the incoming, but you certainly can't take it all down, look. Okay, we do need to get close to that medic ship now just to show those drones. Which are annoying. So we'll target the ship, and here come the drones, look. See they're getting healed, look. So if I don't target that ship, they just keep coming at me, and they keep respawning and then obviously coming alive again because they're getting healed. Okay, so we're back in base now, and based off what we had there, I haven't decided quite yet on the flagship. When it does turn up, we'll probably get that in pillage, but I got a funny feeling very similar to what we've just built on the previous fleet. I'm going to make that probably a high evade ship to try and counter some of this king killer effect, but we will talk about that later on, I think, to be honest. For now, and I don't think there's much discussion on the build. It's quite a vanilla ship, as in it's pretty generic. Okay, I'm thinking that there's only one build that you can actually have at the moment if you've got all the toys. Okay, and I have put on the CIC because it's at U1 as well. For this one then, I've put on obviously the limited scattergun. You can hit the new 417 in the FM, and if you're driving, you can soon knock down enough targets, 8 of them, to pick up an extra scattergun. So I'm already done that 4 times already now, so I've got 4 extra ones already, which is it's a time commitment, but if you want to get ahead, that's what it requires. So on here then, that's the new engine. Okay, so that's on the tier 12. I've also got corrosive battery 3. I've also got the new plating at the bottom, and it's not an armor plate, obviously it's a special. Okay, but then we've got some of the older items on, centrifugal loading mass, and then we've got the sulfuric acid rounds, and believe it or not, we've got chaff splitter on. And the reason I put chaff splitter on is simply because it also has anti-missile range and anti-missile accuracy, and multi-shot on top of that as well. So, and yeah, I mentioned this probably about 2 weeks ago. There was only about one build. I mentioned it last week on Hefe's show, and yeah, confirmed that this is the way I'm going to go ahead for my damage ships as well. Based that there's so much area effect damage and king killer, I'm going to keep 2M armor and 2 corrosive armor. Okay, so basically 2 for the corrosive defense and 2 for the penetrative defense. That's my plan, and very little needs to happen. Okay, and for your countermeasure hull, so we'll just go back into this. Now I haven't built this one fully, but I have got it saved. So there we go. I don't think I've got a CIC to add on yet, but it doesn't really make a difference. We can notionally put one on, and there we go. That's the countermeasure hull. You don't need to do any more than that. Okay, basically you take off 2 weapons and you put on 2 MDS3s, and because you've already got chaff splitter on, you've already got your countermeasure special built in. So clearly there's other options as well. If you're missing certain things, let's just say you're missing this special here, there are other options as well. You can drop down a tier and maybe you go down to the twin fang feeder instead. So you should be able to get these off the previous, okay then, assault ships. That's a tier 9 one, so generally they come free in the FM if you're keeping up with your FM, and you should be able to have fun a ship then to, that was the Scourge hull, I think, to be honest, and you should be able to recycle that hull and then put it onto here instead. It's not too bad, it's not the best one, but it will get you there, okay? Clearly this is the better one for now. Right, that's it. So we've got a method of taking down the VXP target. We've got basically a quick look at the VXP target itself and the breakdown of all the different ships in there and the turrets themselves, the damage types that are available, what's area effect, what's got king killer, okay, and also what heals this time. So that's something quite new. The build, I think it's, like I said, a pretty vanilla build. The countermeasure hull is very, very simple to create. Okay, and if you're struggling to get 4 ships out in time, I would concentrate on getting 3 good ships, at least at level U2, one of them being a countermeasure hull like this one here, and do the 4th one later. Try to get the flagship, because it'll have some bonuses, okay then, 2 damage ships, and this ship here. And that's about it. And if you can get the 4th ship out in time for the first raid, fine. But I would go for 3 strong ships and a flagship as opposed to 4 weak ships and a flagship. That's my advice. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay then, comments down below if you've got anything different or any different ideas. It's always welcomed and that sort of stuff. It's a team effort as ever. Yeah, and we'll talk some more later. Okay, TSM out.